The first lab is really about understanding how a query is executed on Starburst. As I mentioned before, there are two nodes within a Starburst cluster. You have the coordinator node, which is the brains of the operation, where we connect our BI tool, our client of choice, our CLI of choice, to that coordinator node, and is essentially going to be the brains of the operation. The worker nodes are going to be the actual workhorses or compute that goes and actually executes the SQL and grabs the data from the underlying data sources that we have connectivity into. So, so for today, right, we're going to connect to that coordinator node, and we're going to actually execute some SQL and show you what it looks like under the covers. There is a video here that kind of goes into depth or gives you kind of like a 2-minute overview of how a query is executed, explained by my colleague Tom Natz. I would encourage you to go back here and watch that video, as he can explain it very well, but I'm not going to do that today for time's perspective. So we'll go ahead and click next on our tab. And for this activity, we kind of build out a scenario, a fictitious scenario of like how this would look like as a data administrator. So the data we are going to be accessing with Starburst is fictitious data around a consumer bank information. So customer data, product profile data, credit card information around these fictitious consumers. And we're going to experiment with our Starburst cluster by accessing the data we have configured by connecting to our coordinator node and executing SQL that will be distributed to 2 worker nodes in the Starburst cluster. And all this data for this lab will be stored in our banking data will be stored in files on S3. So as you go through these labs, you'll see this text box right here. This will copy and paste the command into your bash terminal and actually execute the command for you. After each of these, after you run each of these commands, you will have to click these checkboxes at the end to go through to the next part of the lab and actually mark it as complete.